Sanjay Hegde, you're listening to both these sides. I want to understand first clarity on the legal position. The clarity I want on the legal, is it very clear that Mr. Kejriwal can run this government from jail? Because it has never happened in the history of the country. As I said, Sukhram was a minister, a chief minister. Can he run the government? And can, importantly, the LG now intervene and say, this is not a tenable arrangement, I am taking over?
We are in uncharted territory. But we have had precedents before where chief ministers were incapacitated, medically incapacitated. You had both MJ Ramachandran and Jayalalitha running the administration from their hospital beds when they were barely sentient. The system takes care of a lot of things. And it is not as if somebody in prison is totally deprived of his usual business. In the Sahara case, the Sahara Shri ran a business from jail where he was allowed to liquidate assets.
No, but are we comparing a corporate to are we comparing a corporate to a chief minister of a state, Mr. Hegde?
Well, let me put it this way. Justice Krishna Iyer once said that the fundamental rights do not part company at the prison gates. Because a man is in jail, and if there are certain functions which can be done or need his attention, it's always open to the courts to permit it, or even the prison authorities. Just for your information, there was a former Prime Minister, Narasimha Rao. When he had to go into prison, a specific area was a government guest house was designated as a prison. So prison manuals do not make the constitution, right?
Yes, but Narasimha Rao did not run his government. But with the, let me tell Narasimha Rao did not run his government from there, Mr. Hegde.
I'm just giving you an example. The first thing is that what we have to look for is the Constitution. The Constitution does not have a disqualification.
Okay.
If a disqualification has to come in, it has to come in through Parliament, in my view, simply because otherwise the precedent would be that any investigating officer who decides he wants to arrest a sitting chief minister, or maybe one day the prime minister, will then be able to run roughshod over elected officials. We are not a police state yet.
We are not a police state yet, and your emphasis, I know, is on the word yet. But Shehzad Poonawalla, you're hearing what is being said, particularly about the manner in which AAP is claiming this has been fixed. They're using electoral bonds. The fact that Sarath Reddy, who turned approver, his company gave a large amounts of money to the BJP, is being used. This is all a fixed match. And as Sanjay Hegde is pointing out, tomorrow, therefore, with the Enforcement Directorate having the powers that they have, they can arrest any chief minister of the opposition and bring the constitutional system to a halt. That is the fear the opposition has. Your response?
I heard Sanjay and I heard Jasmine very patiently without a single interruption. And since you've asked me the Sharad Reddy question again, I want to address that in 30 seconds, but also make the remaining counters. So I hope you'll give me adequate time for both of these things. But I want to, unlike Jasmine, not prevaricate on your question, answer that first. Yes. Sharad Reddy is not the only basis on which this case rests. If you see the remand which was demanded by ED, on which remand was granted, ED has said that the basis of this is not just statement of Sharad Reddy but documentary evidence, and in fact statements of the vendors that the people of Aam Aadmi Party hired in Goa to whom the money went. Apart from that, Sharad Reddy has not been made approver by Narendra Modi. He has been allowed to become approver by the courts unless the chanda was going to the court. Also, Rajdeep, the first time that Aurobindo and Sharad are two different entities. Narayan Murthy Infosys, two different entities. Azim Premji Wipro, two different entities. Arun Puri India Today, two different entities. Company individuals, two different entities.
That argument, Shehzad, is a rather specious one. The fact is that someone who has turned approval, his company, he was a director. Just a minute.
I will answer.
Shehzad Poonawalla, I asked you simply this. I asked you simply this, Shehzad Poonawalla. I asked you a question basically. The argument being made by the Aam Aadmi Party is that this is a trap. Yeah, so now respond.
Be patient.
I'm always patient. Again, we are going back, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Rajdeep, firstly, I'm glad you at least realized, I'm glad that at least you, unlike the Honorable Minister who joined first, you used the right word that he's an approver. Mr. Saurabh Bharadwaj went and said star witness, but he was not interrupted. Anyways, star witness is different, approver is different. Now, coming to your question, I am reiterating to you that this is a hogwash. This has been argued before the court, lower court. Tomorrow they will get an opportunity to argue it before High Court. They can make this argument and get the relief if this is the basis, if the case is so flimsy. But the fact of the matter is, here is the Aam Aadmi Party, which says no money trail has been found, but the Supreme Court has spoken of money trail, the High Court has spoken of money trail, the last court which has granted remand has spoken of money trail, yet they get away by peddling a half lie. They say that we will leave this matter to the court, that matter to the court, but then the court is not denying them relief. And even somebody like Sanjay Nirupam says that Mr. Kejriwal should resign. They are still calling it vendetta politics. Now let me come to the larger points which I needed to address, and please give me 20 or 30 seconds for that. Rajdeep, Mr. Jasmine Shah said, and I quote unquote, this is a genuine order. If it is a genuine order, I request through the medium of India today that the first order put out by Aam Aadmi Party government, why it has no date, why it has no sign, why it has no reference number, please tell me who was the signing authority, which court order was taken by Mr. Kejriwal to sign and give it, and to which officer of Chief Minister's office was it given. Secondly, Jasmine Shah says, I am not obligated to tell you how Mr. Kejriwal is issuing these orders. Rajdeep, can you hear this and believe this? This is a party which predicated itself on right to information and transparency, says that how orders are being issued, whether it's under the Cobro Act and whether it's under the designated manner, they will not tell us. Thirdly, just last point, just third point.
Yes, very quickly, yes.
Third point. Rajdeep, I'll finish in 10 seconds. Rajdeep, 10 seconds. Rajdeep, 10 seconds. I will finish.
Jasmine, please
wait. Rajdeep.
Yeah, let him finish. No, Jasmine, please let him finish. Yes, finish.
Rajdeep, 10 seconds. Rajdeep, third thing that Mr. Jasmine said very arrogantly, and I'm surprised at the arrogance, is that he said that we will go tell the courts if the courts ask us. Rajdeep, your good friend and somebody we respect, PDT Achari, quote unquote in Hindustan Times has said that if Mr. Kejriwal has to even issue one signature order, he has to take permission of the court. It is not that I will do whatever I want and then go to court. It is first you get the permission from court.
Okay,
even the thing that Mr. Saini was saying, if Narasimha Rao got whatever area he got it through court.
You made that point, but Jasmine Shah, you must answer this as we conclude the debate. Where are these orders coming from? The specific details. Do you believe that unsigned letters is the way to run a government? Can a chief minister run a government continually like this? Sooner or later, it'll catch up.
Rajdeep, I'll correct myself because, Shehzad has a habit of twisting everything. What I said is that the Chief Minister of Delhi is not obligated to say how does he communicate with his ministers. Obviously, whatever action he's doing under sound legal advice. And we will leave it at that. The more important question today is, rather than these inane questions, ki kahan se sign kiya, kahan se likha, the bigger question today is the threat in front of democracy in India. People, and ever since Mr. Kejriwal has been arrested, people who are hardcore BJP supporters are reaching out to us and saying that this is unprecedented. Yes, we gave Mr. Modi the mandate to run the country, but going and putting all opposition leaders under jail, and in cases where trial doesn't even begin, and for years you are seeing people like Mr. Sisodia under jail, there is anger amongst the people. And
there is anger, you're claiming there's sympathy, but eventually you will have to answer to the court, or indeed the people of the country. How is the state going to be run if the chief minister is in custody? It's that administrative issue, the practical issues that are important.